Welcome to K&D's Homestead. I'm Donna. My last video I showed how the garden is in disrepair and I'm having to rebuild boxes and tear boxes down, and I said I was going to plant some potatoes today if the weather allows, and the weather's halfway decent. It's sunny, in the 50s, very breezy, but it's doable. So I'm going to get my potatoes planted, and as you can see, not a minute too early, because they have all sprouted and they're starting, a couple of them have decayed, and I've got to get them in the ground. If I don't, I'm going to lose them. We are probably going to have a lot more super cold and freezing nights, and I'm taking a risk putting these out. But if I do nothing, then I'm certainly not going to grow any potatoes out of this batch. So on the chance, a 50-50 chance, I'm going to put them out and see what happens. I will find a way to cover them up for the really super cold nights, but some of these, let me get one out. Look at this thing. Look how long the sprouts are on these things. And they're really tiny potatoes for these big long sprouts. I've got some that are not as long, but they're still sprouted really well. Every one of these. I'm not going to cut them. I'm not going to dry them. I'm just going to put them in the ground just like they are, and I'm going to see what happens. Because if I do nothing, there's a saying, do nothing yields nothing, and that's exactly what will happen if I try to hold on to these any longer. I'm going to lose them because they're going to decay and rot on me. So I'm going to get started and get these things planted. This is the bed that I prepared yesterday, and like I said, I think that it's pretty healthy. It's full of worms, earthworms, and I am probably not going to add anything to it right now. I'm just going to get these things in the ground. I am going to put these kind of heavy and thick. I normally don't like to do that with my potatoes. I like to give a lot of space for the bush on top and then for the potatoes down below. But this soil is so soft and fluffy, I don't think that they're going to have a hard time growing. And the next reason is the fact that I don't have any other areas prepared for potatoes, because I was counting on using one of these larger boxes, and since they're falling apart, that's not an option. So I'm going to put as many as I can in this box and then figure out another place for the rest of them if there's any left over. Okay, this particular box is finished with the potatoes. I think I got 4 rows of potatoes in here, but it wasn't enough room to do all of them, so I've still got to find somewhere to plant these, and I'm probably going to have to work on a box to do that. But in the meantime, I've got another project that I'm going to do before I do this. Let me show you. I've got 2 boxes like this right here. They're just small boxes that are only 12 inches high, and they have busted apart. See there, there's no using those anymore, and they're on each side of a cattle panel. See there? And I like to put green beans in those boxes. But the green beans are going to be a while before I will be ready to set those out. In the meantime, I want to use this area to put out some snow peas and sugar snap peas. So I've got to rebuild these boxes. Now, my husband just cut all the material that I need to rebuild these boxes. And I've got all these boards here and these boards, and it's my job to put them together. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put those together and create some new boxes, and then I will have a place to plant those peas that I want to plant, and they'll be done more than likely by the time I'm ready to put green beans in these boxes. So I'm gonna get started on that and see what I can get done. The first thing I guess I need to do is get all the soil out of the box, and I'm just gonna put it in this metal tub here and save as much of it as I can. That's pretty rotten. They didn't have a bottom to them, and I'm not going to put a bottom on the new ones. That way they'll drain good. It just sits on top of this fabric. There's a toad. Put you somewhere else, buddy. He looks frozen. That's clean enough. I'm going to try to build the box up here on top of this table. It's going to be 12 inches high and 6 inches wide. There's some stain on the outside of these pieces of wood, and I'm going to put them to the outside so that it's just raw wood on the inside. These pieces of wood are treated. I would prefer untreated wood, but that is why the last one's rotted, because I used untreated wood. So this time it's going to be treated. Turn this over. wind is horrible today. All right, 1/2. Okay, I've got 2 of them done. I'm going to stack them and screw them together. They're not pretty for sure, but I'm using what I've got on hand instead of going and buying wood. The ground is unlevel down here at the bottom on this side, and to keep the soil from spilling out, I am going to put fabric in here. Zip ties have come off, so I'm going to put some new ones on. Alright, I'm ready to fill that one up. That's 1 box done and 1 box left to do. All right, this one is the first one, and then this one is the second one. All I have to do is fill it with soil and I'll be finished. I did put a piece of fabric inside of this one as well, just to keep the soil from running out from the bottoms because the ground is not level, so that will keep the soil in. And to connect them, all I did was go in at an angle. Since the screws are very long, they went in at a good angle, and they're both tied together really good. There we have it. I've got my 2 boxes, and now I've got something to plant in at this trellis. I'll tell you what, I'm tired and I'm cold. It's so windy. That is pretty much it for this video, except for one thing. There's one thing I want to show y'all before I go. It's very exciting for me. So it'll be at the end of this video. What's left for me to do is clean up my mess, put the tractor up, and call it a day. So be sure to watch the rest of this video and you'll see why I'm excited. For anybody that has followed my channel, watched my kitchen get rebuilt, you know that I love cedar. Let me show you what we have. Cedar. Is this not gorgeous? It's rough logs. My husband will have to put it on the sawmill and mill it down. Look at that. Gorgeous. Gorgeous cedar logs. This one on the bottom right here is pretty significant in size. There's some rot up in there, but we'll still get a lot of wood out of this. Well, there will be a lot of waste because these knots have to be cut down to get it down to boards. A lot has to be cut out of it, but there's going to be room to make a few boards, a few good boards out of it. The one thing that I want the most out of this is I want a cedar mantle for over the fireplace. I have wanted that for a long time. I've wanted something with a live edge on it, but this is so stringy. I don't know how well it would do with keeping the live edge on it, but I will definitely get a beefy fireplace mantle out of all of this. A friend of ours, he brought this over, and they have a deal to cut it down and split it amongst them, amongst us and him. So we won't get all of it, but we will get plenty for sure to do what I want. I have a few more projects that I'd like to do in the kitchen with cedar, and with my new pantry that we're working on. I would like to have some cedar shelves in there as well. And I say this is a pretty good little load in order to get a few pieces out of it. Anyways, I wanted to show that to y'all because this makes me very happy. I hope that this video brought some interest to you. I hope that you got some value from it. The thing is about this particular garden, I'm going to have to rebuild it one box at a time. So I've got one box over there that's good that I got the potatoes in, and I got these 2 boxes back here. These other boxes are still up in the air. I think there's 1 or 2 that I'm going to try to see if I can get one more season out of. I might have some spillage on the ground, but I think I'm going to try to go ahead and plant in those. Now, I also think that because I don't have that many potatoes left, I have an idea, and I'll bring that on the next video, of what I'm going to do with that little bit of potatoes. I don't want to waste a whole big box, planting box, for just a few potatoes. So I will come back out here tomorrow if the weather allows, and I will get the rest of those potatoes planted and do some more repair in the garden. So we'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.